Hello folks, well this is Miguel from the Embargo Man channel. One thing that I am truly about, that what happened on May 1st. So, ever since this nut in New Zealand has been doing a shooting spree at a mosque, there have been so many cases of Islamic terror incidents. So once and for all, Islamic terror shit has happened out of this year in Sri Lanka. So to all of these dead priests and pastors in these churches in Sri Lanka, I might say rest their souls. I mean, this is quite of crazy, right? One thing is the Sri Lanka one thing it is the Christchurch, some nut going out there out of rage, shooting everybody for what? No freaking reason. They just doing their service. What the heck? Even though somebody might be right about all this crap. I mean, put it this way. For a reason, sometimes I might just say I freaking give a crap, right? As what happened to Charlie Hebdo in France. What happened to Charlie Hebdo in France is kind of stupid. You know, this is to mock a religion saying to be a religion of peace, even though they practice tyranny. Yeah, religion of peace, practice tyranny, right? So, I mean, this is Robert Spencer's right, even though of Jihad Watch, whatever happened to his channel, get demonetized and all that stuff. To Robert Spencer, I suggest you to also open Jihad Watch on Vimeo and Dailymotion. You know, those sites are like saying like YouTube, but hey, people would find out new stuff about it, about what is going on in this world. And for speaking of that much, so I might say this. I mean, one thing that I will say is there's no Islamic terror shit has happened in Japan. Why? I mean, the Reiwa era. New emperor replacement, new empress, and all sort of things. There is one place that they have honored these soldiers that were fought for Japan. Even though they went to some wars, they honor these heroes. Most likely they have been murdering, if they fought in Muslim countries, they were murdering a bunch of Muslims, and they tear down mosques and stuff. Even during World War II, you know, it is called the Yasukuni Shrine, right? That place, nothing has happened. Where are these terrorists? And I might just say not all Chinese or Korean are like assholes, but the Chinese and Korean assholes crossing their fingers, hoping for one day an Islamic terrorist blow up the Yasukuni Shrine and partying and blasting this Allah trap bar songs, a techno songs, like most likely people in Korea might just play this and then want to become Muslim or anything. Get ready for a whole month of fasting. I mean Ramadan and all this stuff and whatever the they say about the religion of peace, that you have to follow these rules, follow everything based on the Quran, right? Just because you've seen somebody blowing up the Yasukuni Shrine and saying Allah Akbar, yeah, saying Allah Akbar, you see Yasukuni Shrine blowing it up, right? That never happened. Thank goodness that never happened. I'm glad that the people of Japan are safe from this Islamic terror crap. You know, this Islamic terror shit never happened in Japan. But if it did happen in Japan, then there is so many reasons that what if this is two things that could happen. First of all, Japan might change a bit of laws, yeah, or a foreign government will support ISIS. And when they support ISIS, ISIS will no longer be labeled as a terrorist group. It will be labeled as a political group that fully reforms Japan's government in a peaceful manner, so they could switch the government, and that foreign government would support Japan's new flag to be the ISIS flag. Yeah, to be the ISIS flag. I mean, that is according to Dave Chappell, you know, of America Undercover. In your other channel, I know which country I am talking about. They want to approve the ISIS flag as the new official flag of Japan. You put it that way, Dave Chappell or Dave Chappell. You know, you put it that way, and what the ISIS member will do, they will learn a foreign language, but it's not going to be Japanese. You know which language I'm talking about, right? So I hope that stuff never happens. You know, putting the point, you know, doing a peace treaty with ISIS, so they replace the Yasukuni Shrine with a mosque. That's gonna be crazy, right? I bet which government is going to do that. Other than that, I think this stuff never happened. I'm glad that never happened. What it is, I mean, and I'm talking now to Robert Spencer. You could eventually leave the United States if you want, you know, and most likely the first thing you might do, if you are so aware, I mean the safest bet for Japan is political asylum for people of Venezuela too. They could come and migrate and live in Japan. Safer bet than Syrian refugees. But if it's the Syrian refugees, if there are refugees from Syria, the best thing for Japan to do is approve on changing their gun laws. Well, why, if it's Syrian, change gun laws? Why? Because, as they say, an armed nation is a protective nation. So, what it is of this thing, good guy with a gun, the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. The way to stop a bad Muslim is a good guy with a gun in Japan. Would be things to be awkward in things that maybe Robert Spencer would be agree. Robert Spencer, first of all, before you move to Japan, you could speak for Japan at the NRA. So that means if Japan decides to bring Syrians, refugee from Syria or Muslim countries, you could tell about that how Japan will be fully ready, and you would say this is what Japan should do: change their gun laws, make their gun laws similar to the United States, with or in other words, preach the Second Amendment with no strings attached kind of thing. That means if Japan preaches the Second Amendment of the USA and adapt the Second Amendment in Japan so they could live in peace within Syrian refugees and get ready for whatever happens. If there is some Islamic terror shit could happening in Japan, so civilians carrying their firearms and stuff, they carry their 1911s, Glocks, Smith and Wesson 29s or Magnums or whatever, go ahead and shoot at the terrorist, right? And that way, if you think Robert Spencer, that's how Japan could be safe from Sharia law, and you want to protect Japan from Sharia law, Japan needs guns to protect themselves from Sharia law, go ahead. Go to the NRA meeting. Speak for Japan. Speak what you think about Islam, Muslims, and how Japan would be safer living with guns to carrying around with the streets, with living within the people who practice the religion of peace. That way, would think that's the better way so Japan to be safe. Then go ahead, spread your word to the Japanese government, and be an advisor and join the NRA if you want to, Mr. Robert Spencer. That way, you could speak. You could take this pro gun activist, Judy Lynch or something like that. Her. You could invite her. That woman could go and say what she agrees between all this and how Japan could be ready for Islamic terror. That's one way what it is. Religion of peace is called the religion of tyranny. If you believe that, I think that what people would do is that I might say this. I might say that put in this law about having Syrian refugees, and instead of Jenny's got a gun, you could call it Yoko's got a gun. Makes kind of sense for Japan with Syrian refugees. That way, changing gun laws in Japan might say Japan would live safer within Syrian refugees with similar gun laws to the USA. Other than that, this is why I'm saying there is no way of Islamic terror shit has happened in Japan. Thank goodness Islamic terror shit hasn't happened in Japan. But in that case, Robert Spencer could live in Japan and change things within the Japanese government regarding to the gun laws, because if they own guns, they own for sport shooting, clay shooting, and hunting, not for self-defense. Things could change in a way. If not, hopefully that Steve Chappell, if you hear something about a certain country or a certain government deals with ISIS, then you could do the opinionated and you just open up things that that you could open a can of worms. Other than that, thanks for watching this video. Goodbye, peace out, and don't forget to subscribe to the Embargo Man channel. Let's hope no Islamic terror shit happens in Japan. Goodbye and stay safe.